please give a very warm welcome to the one and only Anne McGovern.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Q Corner
Well,
Show.
welcome to Q Corner Show.
Thank you for having me.
I hear it's late in the afternoon there. It's a nice, relaxing afternoon, yes?
No, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
No way.
thank
I've
you.
had 2 cups of coffee, so we're good.
Yeah,
Good.
we've had 7.
Yeah. Well, Anne McGovern's going to do, her class title is Organic Centerpieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave you in her very, very capable hands. You guys have a whole lot of fun and give her a whole lot of love, and we'll speak to you afterwards, okay?
Enjoy.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thanks. So we're going to do 3 different centerpieces, all air-filled organics. Going to start out with the most basic, simple, and then kind of work our way up because, as we all know, clients have different price points and not everybody can afford the same thing. So I'm going to start with just a basic first and kind of start from the beginning, and then we'll work our way up. So this is a 31-inch Lomi pole by Oasis. You can use, I always use 31-inch or taller because don't want to block line of sight, especially when we're doing the organics because they tend to be bigger. You also need something very strong. I would not use a balloon stick at all because it just doesn't have the strength to hold it up. You could also use a plexi pole. These are nice too because it comes with a nice sturdy acrylic clear base so you don't have to cover it. The pole is nice, it's nice and smooth. But the only thing is that these are usually you loan them out, so you would get them back because they're definitely more expensive. I tend to use these ones. You can also make your own with a wood dowel and a piece of wood. That's pretty sturdy too. You can use a knot lamp, that gets more expensive too. I tend to use this. They're not, if you can see it at all, they're not round. They're like a like a cross shape. So, but we use a very inexpensive 6-inch tile. A lot of times I just get these either discontinued and we buy them by the caseload. So I've gotten them as inexpensive as free to 16 cents. I never spend more than like 50 cents on them. In order to put the Lomi to the tile, I don't use glue. We use the premium stickums is what they're called. You can see it just comes in a roll. And the roll lasts you forever. I think this roll have probably had 6 months, and we do so many air-filled centerpieces. So it definitely lasts a long time. So I think last time I bought it was like $35. It could be more than that now. I don't even know. But it lasts a long, long time. And it saves you. You don't have to wait for them to dry. So we put 2 on the end, the bottom of the Lomi. And then we just stick it to the middle of the tile. And then you have it, and it's not going anywhere. So you don't have to wait. Years ago when I first started, we used the Lomi glue, which is a great thing, but you had to let it dry for 24 hours. So this is all done. Then what we would do is we cover the base with whatever color tablecloth or foil paper that matches your balloons. So I'm going to put it down because I've already done that, so we're not wasting time. Sometimes we always cover the top of our Lomi with the same color balloon that we're using. And we started doing that years ago. It's not totally necessary, but once in a while you'll get sharp pieces on the plastic here. So we kind of started doing that years ago. We had gotten a bunch of them were coming out with tons of sharp things on them. So we kind of just stayed with it. Usually when I'm doing my centerpieces too, I work from the bottom up. And then we take a 260 and we take the air out of it, which I learned from Luke many, many, many years ago. And we knot it, so there's no air in it. We take this and we tie it. I don't know if you can see that. We tie it around the top of the loamy pole. So we have a long piece and a short piece. And we'll get back to why we do that. After many years of doing centerpieces on loamies, I used to get frustrated. And I'll explain why we do this, because I used to get frustrated because I couldn't get them to stand up straight. So this is going to be just a very simple, basic centerpiece. So we have, these are about 4 inches. So we just have different colors. Since this is organic, I'm not really, spiraling or matching up colors or evenly. So we just put, you can see that. We just put one like that, cross over, and push down. No need to even twist them or anything, especially with the loamy, again, because it's not round. It's hard to kind of twist them. It's easier just to put them over. Oops. I think, okay. I'm going to take these out first. Okay, so then because we're doing slightly organic, the next row is kind of 2 different, slightly different sizes. And then I'm just gonna cross them over 2, and I'm gonna make a small, a big, a small, big, just to kind of give it a slightly organic look, and just push them down also. So then the next thing, like I said, I work from bottom to top. So I'm going to do a bubble up the hole. Okay. So I just let a little air out, knot it. And then what I do is, where we crossed over the balloons, I'm going to figure 8 this into it. So it's also doing 2 things. It's locking that cluster onto the pole, and then it's also giving me that I can work with both hands, and I don't have to worry about the bubbles unspiraling. Unbubbling. So then you just twist, try to get the bubbles around the same size. And I usually twist about like 5 times, just because it takes less time for it to undo. I mean, more time. So just twist a couple times. And we're going to end up wrapping this around the pole. But see, I have both my hands. I don't have to worry about that undoing because I've locked that in. All right, we're almost there. All right, I'm going to bring this closer to me because you don't want this unraveling, so you don't want to have a lot of movement. So I'm going to cut this off now. And I knotted it, but I am not moving a lot. Like, I'm not moving around, because if I do, this can all undo. So then I'm taking this, and I'm not moving myself, I'm moving the pole. And then I just tie this to the shorter piece up here. The other good thing about doing it this way is if I end up making this too high, that my top piece is not sitting correctly, I can move it up or down because it's just tied with a 260 to the pole. So there you have. Okay. So now for our top piece, I have This is about 4 inches also, and I'm just going to twist them together. And this one is about 3 inches. Now I don't twist them onto the pole. I like to attach them first, and then we put them onto the pole. So you can either use a 260 to attach them, or you can just tie the 2 nozzles. I'm going to tie the nozzles, and we've been doing this for so many years, and I've not had an issue ever. Okay, so then what I do is I take where the opening is, rather than that one's not as open. I like to take the one that's a little more open here, and then what we do is, I don't know if you can see that, we take it and I place it onto the pole. And I'm holding my hand where I want to sit, because we don't want it down too low. And then I'm taking the other, I'm going to actually go this way. I'm taking the 260 now. So where I brought it onto the pole, if you can see that, okay, I'm taking the 260 and I'm making a figure 8. Wait, sorry. I actually just did that wrong. Okay, sorry. It's hard me doing it backwards. So then you just take it and figure 8 it onto the pole. And there you go. And then if you need to move it up, you can. And this isn't going anywhere. And the other thing too, especially when we're gonna start doing like a bigger organic, this is really locked on there. It's completely locked on, so you don't have to worry about it coming undone. And it's gonna stay straight. So then we attach our bubble. And you want that to be tight also. And then I'm just going to cut the excess off. All right. See, so now if this bubble is too high, I'm just pulling it down a little bit. And there we go. So there is your basic, simple centerpiece. And then if we want to add on, to try to make it a little organic, we can. Actually, that's not it. All right, so on the bottom, all I've done is taken some 5-inch and make them small, different sizes. And then what I do is I knot them. At 5-inch right here. Make them small. Make sure that they stay round. So I'm going to knot this one. And you got to make sure that all the air is up at the top of the 5-inch round. Sometimes, like if I really want small, I'll end up twisting them so that it really stays round. And then we knot them. And then I take the 2 of these. You can also use a 260 if you don't have enough room, if you feel you don't have enough room. And knot them completely at the end. So then you have this big gap here. So if I want to start adding in, I've done these already. So all I'm doing is pulling them in there like that. And I'm going to take another one and pull that in there like that. And this is just going to be a little semi-organic. So then the same thing we're going to do for the top is, I'm going to take this one. So I have these. And you know, I'm going to take this one out because I think I want to put this one on the top. This one I put on the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to just adding a little bit to it. To give it that organic look. And again, this is just for the client that doesn't have the money but wants to do a little organic. And you can wrap this around. You can also glue in too. I'm not a big fan. I try not to glue. I used to glue all the time. But sometimes I feel like, you know, if a kid touches it or something like that, it's just sometimes easier if it's not glue. Because if they pull it, it can pop. But I definitely glue too. So either way, you know, whatever works for you. There's not one way to do this. It's whatever works for you and in your business. So basically that's, and then if you wanted to add in, I have more. If you want to add in some more, you can. So the more you add in, the more organic it gets. So the other thing too is like you have to worry about is if you push these down too much, it's hitting the table and it's going to get wobbly, which you don't want. So then you have to decide, do I want to add in some more or not? So I'm thinking one more here. And then that's pretty much done. And then if you wanted to add in some details, I like, we definitely add in some flowers and some stuff, but everything you add in is more money, obviously. More labor, more money. So there we go. So we can add in some more at the top. The other thing too, so if you did want to glue in, you can either use, we have U-glue dashes, or rubber cement. So if you wanted to, we could say, okay, well, I think that this needs, you know, another balloon up there. You can add in some rubber cement. I like, you know, either one works. Only thing is, if you go to, actually, that's I'm not going to do there. If you go to, and then you just be careful with the rubber cement because you don't want it spilling, which has happened. So I always, if I open up rubber cement at a venue, I make sure I put it on, you know, a balloon bag or something like that, just because if it does spill over, you don't want to ruin their floors or anything. So, okay. So there you have like a semi-organic. It's not crazy. It doesn't take that long because it's not a lot. If you want to add some details in, you could. You could just add in some flowers, and normally I would 100% glue these in, and I usually just use a dash or a U-glue strip, because, you know, at the end of the night when they take it home, you don't want it to be that it fell out. So I would definitely put a piece of U-glue on it. Or, another thing you can do is you can actually attach 264 to it and bring it in, just kind of bring them in like we did with the balloons. So you definitely can do that. So if you wanted to, you could, let's see, you could add some on top, add some on the bottom. You see, it changes it, as soon as you add things and you add details, it changes the centerpiece. So, and these, these are just from the dollar store, but, the client doesn't have to know that. And then you kind of just have to add on your prices. It doesn't matter how much it costs me. I mean, it does to make sure I get it back, but it's about perception. So we're going to add some of these to it. It definitely has to raise the price of the centerpiece. Let's see. It's hard because I'm not standing back. I'm doing it backwards, but I'm gonna change that one. Okay. And just add in, might as well, we have it, add in the rest of these. You can see it changes the look of it and the perceived value of it, and that it doesn't take that much longer. So we might as well add in all these. One more. Okay. So there you have your 50th centerpiece. And it's semi-organic, but nothing crazy. Can you see that? Here. I'm turning it the wrong way. I'm looking at it backwards. So just semi-organic, nothing too crazy, but it gives you an idea of it's quick and fast. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this one. And we're going to do the next one. Okay, so this one is going to be a little, sorry, I had to get the rest of stuff, a little more organic than the other one was. I'm missing a Lumi, but that's all right. So I was going to do this one on a cake plate, but I'm not going to do it because I need this for the next one. So you can end up doing, you don't always have to use a tile. This is a cake plate. And it's very sturdy. It's pretty thick. I just get them from my local distributor. And it's already colored. So it works out fabulous. We are going to do another centerpiece. So this one is a little bit more organic, a little bit more detailed. I love this balloon. Okay. So I'm not gonna put this on the cake plate. I'm gonna use the tile only because I need this for the next centerpiece. So we're gonna use this tile unless I can get it off, but I probably can't. That's a great thing, good and bad thing about the Oasis is that it's extremely hard to get them off the tile. I'm gonna try quickly. I might get it, hang on. You actually have to put a scissor or a knife or something underneath. This is good, so I'm teaching you how to do this too. We have had to do it, especially if we have, like they're sold out or we can't get them, and we have these. Because when we do outdoor work on the loamies, there we go. When we do outdoor work on the loamies, we use a 12-inch tile because you need, with the wind and everything, you need a bigger footprint. So it won't blow over. Been there, tried that. Or sometimes we even do a 6-inch first and place it on top of the 12-inch just to give it a little bit more weight too, especially if you're doing outside. So then I'm going to I'm actually going to put 3 just because I'm reusing this one. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put this into the middle of the cake plate. And normally I would mark it and measure it, but it doesn't really matter. So there we have it. Okay? And it's not going anywhere. So again, the same thing. Just going to kind of get put this balloon on the floor. Get my balloons out. I was trying to be organized, but you know, what do they say? All right. Okay, so we're going to start with our bottom again. We're just going to cross over, push down, and the same things. These are semi, like one's bigger, one's smaller. We're going to cross over again. Actually, I'm going to reverse that. Okay, so that's that done. Right. I am going to take the air out of my 260 again. And I mean, it's not necessary to put a balloon on the top, but it's just kind of like I have it with me now. I'm just going to put my balloon on top. This one. This is a little different because I don't think we're going to do anything up the pole on this organic one, so we really don't need that extra piece. All right, so I'm going to take this one's about 4 inches, and this is about 2.5. So we're going to take them and now these are not, I start out with them regular size. So we start out, the beginning part of this is regular size that I would do with most of my centerpieces, so not organic. And I'm just going to tie my nozzles together. Okay, so I have this like this. And then the same thing again, I'm just going to bring it onto the pole. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm just, like you would do, like when you build a column, and you have it on monofilament line, this is the same thing. So see, I'm just taking 260 and figurating it. Like I said, the reason why we started doing this was because I was so frustrated with, that the centerpieces wouldn't sit correctly. They would be tilting. So I found like when I really locked it onto the pole like that, it stayed up much more straight than it was. So now we're going to attach our top balloon. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. I'm going to cut off this one. This is a self-seal bubble, so we didn't need to do anything. I'm going to cut the string off. Okay. Throw it on the floor. Then I have a piece of a 260 here. I'm going to take the air out of it. Tie this to the balloon. And then I'm going to bring it up onto the centerpiece. Okay. And I want it on nice and snug. Because we're going to do organic, this is going to hold some weight. Okay. So there we have. All right. All right, so now, there's the base of your centerpiece. And now, in order to get, we tried this a lot of different ways, and this is the way I come up with that worked the best for us. Now, this is definitely a much more expensive centerpiece. So, there's a lot more balloons. I'm going to open up. These are my extras. Okay. So what I did is I took, I made a bunch of quads, and I usually have 2 smaller ones and 2 larger ones. So it just, I found they sit better when you have 2 big or 2 small. So I have these all already made. And I do a total of 6 of these. Let's see. Okay, so I do 6 of these. All right. So I take them, move that over. I have a 260, again, another 260. So you can either tie the nozzles together. I'm going to tie, I need 3 and 3 of these. So I'm going to take, I kind of just, actually this one I need another, this is too small. Little deflation overnight. Okay, so I have all my quads lined up, and then I'm going to start attaching them to the 260. So okay, I'm going to do it that way. So I just take my 260, and I'm going to figure 8 it, wrap it around the quad. Then I take my next one and place it on top. And I'm taking my 260 and just wrapping it. And then my last one. Doesn't really matter about the colors because we're going to add in too. So if you feel like there's too many pinks or too many one together, it doesn't matter because we're going to add in some other balloons afterwards. So you can always change it with a different color. So then we're going to take the next ones, and I'm going to do it a different way. I'm just going to attach the nozzles. See, so there's so many different ways you can do things. There's no right way. If it works, it works. You know, there's more than one right way, which is wonderful. Okay, so. Okay, so now we have, these, excuse me, are going to go on the ends. So I have the first one, okay, and I have this 260 here. So I'm going to say, okay, I want this to go, actually, I'm going to reverse these. Okay, so we're going to put this in. You can see, I'm going to do it to the front. Okay. Okay, so I just put this through, the 260 went through. I'm going to wrap it once around. So then I have my other cluster here. And I can say, sorry, I'm going to bring it down here so as you can see. Okay. I don't know why I was doing it up there, because I always like to have it at height level so as you can see, and I'm not reaching up. So then you just take the 260, and I'm figure eighting it into this cluster. Okay, so then you have the start of your organic. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to actually turn that around. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it up with U-glue. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So now I have some U-glue already pre-cut. I like the strips because I feel like they're stronger, and just cut them, but whatever works. U-glue happens to work really well with latex and the plastic bubble. It does not come off. So I'm just going to say, okay, I want this to be there. And it does not put a lot, I never have any popping with anything. Some reason the plastic works really well with the latex, so I have never had an issue with any popping or. I think I'm going to turn. You got to see which way it looks the best. Okay. All right. Oops. I'm going to put. You just have to press firmly and make sure it's on there. And then I'm just going to put one more. So you don't need a lot. It's just, I usually just have a piece on, there it goes, on each side. There we go. All right. Once it's on, it usually stays on. I'm just going to put one more on this side just to take off the pressure of it going down so as it really stays up, because we're going to add to this. Okay. So there we have the start of our organic centerpiece, okay? And next, because this one is a more organic, and also when I look at the bubble, it had some sparkly in it. I said, let's add some glitter to this. And normally the glitter I do glue in because I want to place them strategically. So I made a bunch of them already, so couldn't, but I'm going to show you quickly how we make our glitter balloons. Now you can use, I'm going to do two just to show you two different ways. Okay. I have a 5-inch clear, diamond clear here, and I just want to put some air into it because I want to stretch it. I want to stretch this out. Okay. So then either, I'm going to put some glitter in the cup. So either this is the castrating tool, so you can use this, and I pull it down because I want to get into this here, into the little thing I just stretched out into the base of the balloon. So I'm holding it, and then I'm going to add in some glitter. There's no need for high float because the air will create the static. So when I inflate it, same thing, I pull the nozzle down, and then you want to make sure that this is clear, so you can, even when you're letting out some air, if I want to make it smaller, I'm pulling it down so as this stays clear, because you don't want it cloudy. And then sometimes, like I said, I twist it and not. And then all you do is rub your hand over it, and you have your glitter is all stuck. And it does not fall off. But usually before I put them on, I do the same thing again. I just rub my hand over it. So the other way you can also use I'm going to inflate another one. Okay. You can use a little funnel if you prefer. You just again, I pull it all the way down, so it's just the piece I inflated is up there, but the neck is all the way on the funnel. And I do the same thing. Don't want to spill that. So I take that off, and I'm going to inflate. I want to get it clear, so then when I'm letting the air out, I'm pulling at the same time to make sure it stays clear. Okay, I want to make this small. Okay, so then you have it. So either way, it works. It's quick. It's easy. I have a bunch of them already done. So. All right, so I'm going to go back to the bottom of the centerpiece. And I'm going to add in some, let's say, just do one of these ones. Again, we're tying the nozzles. Sorry. Tying the nozzles all the way to the end. Like I said, you can also use a 260 and you can glue them in. So, I'm going to give that a little rub before I put it on. I'm just bringing it through and down. Okay. This one's going to be a little bit more organic than the other one we did. Let's see. So I already have these all done. Okay. Okay. So maybe we need to add another glitter. Again, when you use rubber cement, you don't need to use a lot at all. Just use a little bit. I usually can leave this sitting out. Let's see. Okay. Just add in a few little glitters. Give it a little. The other thing with this one, we're going to add in some baby's breath. So that's another thing. When you add in any type of greenery or baby's breath, you can fill in the gaps also with that. So you don't have to worry about like every gap being filled. And once you do that, it makes a difference. So let's say, I'm going to add in another one here. I have very little on this. Okay. So you have to decide. So I'm going to stop there for now, and we're going to start working on the top. So for the top, normally I've always glued in once I get to this point, but recently I started doing both because if I can, like I said, I prefer if I can get in balloons onto something without gluing, I prefer that. So I'm going to some of these in. And we can always tweak it. We can move things around. We can tweak it. So I'm just bringing one in front and one in back. And it's just going to kind of add some more layering to this. All right. No, that's too much of the same color. There we go. So I'm just taking them and wrapping. See? And it just goes in nice and easy. I have a bunch more here. I mean, you kind of can just, the thing I like about not gluing them is that you can move them around. So you don't have to worry about, if you glue it and you put it in the wrong place, well then you have a problem. Let's see. See, so it goes in very nice. I think we need one right there. And you know what? You don't have to put it. You know, you layer as much as you want to layer, as much as they're paying you to layer. You know, it's not. Okay. So this travels very well too. The next one we're gonna do does not travel as well, so I'm definitely more careful in the van with them. You see, I'm just, as soon as before I put it on the table, I kind of fool around with it. I'm just gonna show you quick. If we add in some flowers. Well, we could keep going. I have more balloons here, but I think I want to get to the next centerpiece. So, and I'm not sure, I know I started a little late, but I'm not sure if, how long I have. So, you can start adding, I'm going to add in some glitter first though. You need to have some glitter on top, and this is where the add in, you can fill in the gaps. And I cut, when you're gluing in, for sure, cut off the nozzles because you don't want to see those nozzles in your centerpiece. The other one, obviously, because I'm tying them together, I did not cut off the nozzles. And we'll do the other side, obviously both sides have to have the same. All right, so let's put this one here. Glitter makes a difference too. I think when you add the glitter balloons to an organic or a centerpiece, it definitely makes a difference. Just gave it that much more. And you got all these little glitter things in here too, in the balloon. So it's kind of just pulling those out. Okay. So there you go. All right, so now, again, when I add in, this is fresh baby's breath, and I use a lot of it because, number one, it's pretty. Number two, it's very inexpensive. Make friends with your local florist. They'll be very good to you. Mine is amazing. I just called her yesterday. I was like, do you have any baby's breath for me? So, and I do glue them in. I do, because again, at the end of the night, when they take the centerpieces home, you don't want it falling apart or like having a trail. So you'll see, it makes such a difference just by adding this, like this whole bunch. You can get them for like $5, $10, and it lasts. I think usually I order one bunch like that for 10 to 12 centerpieces. So it definitely goes far, and it's not expensive. And I'm only going to do the front of this one with the baby's breath, only because I don't want to run out of time. But obviously you would do both sides. Okay. Okay. See how everything you add just adds to the centerpiece. So I'm just going to throw a few more in and then move on to the next one. You could add more, less. It doesn't really need to have a lot. I find that with organics or flowers, when you're adding anything to your balloons, you just have to sometimes say, okay, that's enough, because it's just ends up being too much. And I didn't glue these last ones in just because I'm trying to save time. Okay, so there we have that, and now we got to add a few to the bottom. And just by, I'm going to move this so you can see. You see that? Okay. Just by adding these in, sometimes we just add baby thread to a regular centerpiece, to a regular base, and it just makes, I think it makes a difference. I don't know, I really like pretty things, so. It's hard to see because I'm working backwards here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. And definitely needs another one up there. So to me, you have to keep looking at it and say, okay, is it time to stop yet? But that kind of gives you an idea of, you can add in, just by adding in small little touches in the details, makes a difference in your centerpiece. See? Okay. So there we go. I'll have that finished and then get a picture for you guys later. So there is your full centerpiece. Can you see it? Okay. And it's pretty sturdy. Like it's definitely, I travel with these completely done like this, and it's not an issue at all. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay. Just have to clean this up. I'm going to have a big mess here. All right. Back in the water. Okay. So, the next centerpiece we're going to do is something similar to this one. You can see it's definitely much more organic, and it's heavy on top, which is why I was saying you need to make sure you're dealing with not a balloon stick, something that is very, very sturdy, because this is holding up a lot of weight. I'm going to push that back a little bit. I'm just pushing this back. Okay. So, that's better. Okay. So this holds up a lot of weight, but it's, as you can see, it's holding it up. It's not going anywhere. It's not moving. Even when I shake it, it's on there real tight. So we're going to make another one similar to this. The Lomi. I've used Lomi for all of these. I think I've been using them for so long that they're definitely my favorite. I find them very sturdy. I find them, for me, they're easy to get because I can get them locally. So I don't even need to get them shipped. Okay. Okay, so this one, the other thing I said, like, there's always different bases you can use. You don't always have to have the same base. Like, we use planters, we use vases, and the Lomi will go right into, not like a small, like, Dollar Tree cylinder. It won't go in because this is too big. I think the 21-inch Lomi might, but I don't really use those because it's hard to do a lot of stuff on them because then they block line of sight. Okay? But you can get creative. Like, we've done, like I said, cake plates, we do tiles, we do vases, we do planters, and today, we're going to use, I don't know what they call these. It's like a tree, like a slice of a tree, because we're going to do like a safari themed, wild one, woody theme, which has been a big theme for us with even bridal showers have been like a woodsy theme. First birthdays have been like wild one. So again, same way. I'm going to attach these with 2. Actually, I'm going to do 3 only because I'm not sure about this surface. I just opened this one. This wasn't, actually, it's not the one that I used for the centerpiece that I made. So I'm just hoping that it actually is that. But before I do that, I have a little piece of styrofoam because we're going to get a little creative with the bottom of the centerpiece. Normally I use one that's a little bit smaller, not as thick as this, because I want to cover it. So I just want to put the pole through the middle of it. So if you can see that, I'm just finding the middle of the styrofoam and pushing down. And then I'm going to attach my pole to the middle of my wood piece. It is sticking good. I was scared it wasn't going to stick. And then I'm pushing this down, okay? And the reason I'm putting all this on before we do anything up here, because otherwise I won't get it on, okay? So, which is another reason to work from the bottom up. So then I have some different materials here that we're going to use. Okay, so I have a piece of burlap here because it's going to be a woodsy theme. I'm cutting a little hole in the middle of this, and I'm going to bring it down over the pole. Okay, so then, okay. I'm going to get rid of that too. Okay. So then we have we're going to start with get the top balloon on. I already did this balloon, and the reason was because I thought we'd run out of time, which I think we might. So I just put in little balloons inside, cut the nozzles, and we do, and if we have time at the end, I will do this to show you, because this is not a self-seal bubble. Okay, so but I am going to cut that off, and I need a 260. Okay. I'll get that in a second. There is. All right, so this one I've already attached the 2 quads there. I just need to get a 260. Okay. And I am going to have the little piece here again because we're going to attach ivy. So I also use this if we're attaching, garland, ivy, anything. Yeah, this extra 260 there. I need to get more balloons here. All right. I'm going to put a balloon on top. We do the same thing we did with the other ones. Attach it where we want it. The reason I keep my hand up there is because I don't want this moving down. I want it exactly where I want it, that it's the right, it's down there. These balloons are high enough that that balloon on top is going to fit snugly in there. It's not going to tip. And then if you want to get ready, you can cut this, or you just kind of pull, snap, and it goes in there. Okay? And I need another juice. I am going to put my balloon on like we would normally put on. I like to do for both sides, especially when I'm going to be adding a lot of weight to this balloon. Okay, so now we are going to make it organic like this one is. So the way I do that is, put this down on the ground. Okay. Like I said, I like to work with my centerpieces at eye level because I find it's easier to manipulate. So I have hang tabs. I'm going to take 2 hang tabs. Okay. All right. I have 2. I'm going to stick them together, if you can see that. I'm going to stick them together so the top piece are together. Okay? Then I'm going to put this in the middle. It doesn't have to be in the middle. This is organic. It doesn't have to be, well, it has to be straight, but it does not have to be in the middle because it really, you can bring it, if you want to bring your piece over here, here, here. So I think we're going to bring it up a little bit to the side, okay? Now, I'm going to do similar to the other one a little bit. So I already did my piece. I'm going to have one piece over here. Let's see. I'm going to have one piece over here. And I'm going to add this in. Okay. Okay. Just like we did with the other one, that piece is just going to hang there for a little while. And I'm just kind of wrapping that around. Then I'm taking, I actually had 3 260s, but I think I only really needed 2. Usually I do 2, but when I tried it last night, I was like, oh, I'm going to put a third and I can always cut it. So I have this 260 coming up. All right, we're going to keep it. Right. And we tie it onto here. And hope it doesn't come undone. Okay. Now I'm going to actually grab the pieces that I had from the other one. I cut these a little bit smaller than I did with this one. But I'm going to take these pieces and put them going this way now. Alright, so this does not come off. Alright. In this situation, more is better. So, now I have already done all my clusters. So I'm going to take these and just put them right onto the 260. Can you see that? This bag is in the way. All right. See? So I'm just putting this right back on here, right on the 260. And you know, as you put them on, you can just pull them down. Okay. Nice and easy. There's no gluing or anything. And I'm trying to go a little quicker, so it's going to be a little sloppy because I'm going to try to get it done. Right. But you can see it's nice and easy. It's definitely not hard by any means. Okay. And let's put this way. So there you have the basic part of your centerpiece. And now I'm just going to glue up this side. I mean, if you want to do it around the whole thing, you could. I'm just going to glue. And then we're going to do our add-ins. All right. Okay. So now the same thing that we did with the other one is, you still see that? Okay. Okay. So now we just have to add in wherever we feel that it needs to be. Okay. I have them already made. So if we see there's a gap, like down here, there's a gap, just kind of pull them in. Okay. This one side doesn't have any animal print. So kind of just sporadically adding a little animal print to kind of then bring the whole thing together. Okay, so I'm going to kind of stop there only because we're running out of time, and I just want to go over the bottom of it while I can. So for the bottom, I've taken a pick machine and I have a little pick at the bottom of this. I'm just gonna add in some of these balloons. So I'm sticking them into the styrofoam. Okay, so I'm going to show you that quickly. Oh, here it is. All right, so this, I just have a hand picker here. I'm going to do one just so you can see. Okay. It's just a hand picker. And you stick this in here, like that. I take the nozzle, the balloon. We do this a lot with even like some bases we're doing when we add tulle and stuff like that. And you squeeze, and now you have it picked, okay? So we're just gonna stick some of these in the base. You don't want to stick too much because we don't want to lose that we have a piece of wood down here. Okay. All right. So then I've also picked a few pieces of burlap to add in. All right. And now we're going to add in some ivy and some greenery. You also can use fresh greenery, or you can use ivy's real inexpensive. So you definitely, I do it on Amazon, and it's not expensive at all. I think I have another one picked. Yeah. So we can add in some greenery. Let me see how that looks. You kind of get the idea. I'm going to go back to the bottom if we have time, but for now, I'm going to stop because I want to get the ivy in on the top. Okay. So we're going to add, again, see how I brought the centerpiece down so as I can see what I'm doing? I'm just going to weave this through the balloons. Okay. Which is great because it's also going to hide some of the gaps, which means less balloons. And I would do this on both sides. And I would, every so often, I would use a glue gun or something. Okay. So then we're going to continue on the other side. Same thing. I'm going to I'm definitely available afterwards for questions because I know I kind of rushed through this. Okay. So this extra piece, I don't want that coming down, so I'm just going to go to the other side. Okay. Now I want to bring okay. That's ivy. So now I'm just going to bring it all the way through and wrap this around the pole. If you can see, just wrapping this around the pole, and then I'm going to pick this into the base so as it stays. So I'm going to pick the end See, nice and quick, nice and easy. You have that at the end. And then I'm just going to add in a few more. All right, let's see. You have to stand back and see how it looks. All right. So this definitely, I would have added more in here, which we still can do. Definitely this side needed a little bit of layering. I have 15 minutes. Okay, that's great. Okay, so we can keep layering this. And do both sides. Now I'm going to take this off so I can get this piece straight here. Anybody, if anybody has any questions, you can actually even send me an email. It's not a problem at all. I definitely answer questions. One of the reasons why I picked this centerpiece to do was because I do get so many emails about it. How do you do it? And in the beginning, we didn't use the hang tab on top. I would just glue it all up, and it actually was so much harder. This way, it was quick, and tie the 260, and we're just wrapping the balloons on the 260. So I'm going to add, I have a bunch of balloons here. I am going to add them on so we can make this look better. I'm also going to show you, so I wanted to use the Black's marbled super agate balloons. And because they don't come in a 5-inch, we made our own 5-inch. Sorry, I know my back is to you. This is the case I probably should have glued just now, but again, I like this because you can remove them if you need to. Okay, so I think that's enough layering on this side. And then we're just going to add our ivy in. Okay. This back. All right. All right. We need some more ivy here. All right. That's what I picked. Had ivy all over the floor. So this kind of just complements, the balloon has already greenery in it. So I just felt like this was complementing it. And again, I would definitely, after I have it where I want it, I would go back and I would glue dot like a leaf to a balloon so as it would stay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when people are leaving with the centerpieces, it's one thing it's on the table, but most of them people, especially this kind of a centerpiece, especially when they're spending this kind of money, will take them home with them. So, he said, I wanted to make I'm gonna take this out for a second. A super agate 5-inch. So what we did was I took, sorry, I'm going to move this out of the way. I took a 5-inch balloon, okay? I took a 5-inch balloon, and I want to get one that's, I was trying to get ones that had a lot of white in them, so they could look like they were, that they were like zebra, is what I was trying to get at. So I just cut, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to show you. Okay. So I took this and I cut the nozzle off all the way down. You can see that, okay? Then I took, well, it should probably be green, but here's green. Then I took a 5-inch balloon and I put this, the super agate over. I have it on the end of a paintbrush, double stuffed it inside, and pull it all the way down. Then take it off the paintbrush. I have my pump. I'm going to put in the 5-inch balloon, and there you have your 5-inch super agate. And I only have to knot the green one. So then I was able to use them in my centerpiece. So now if I want to pick this and put it into my centerpiece, I can. Okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a big tail, so. All right. And there, I have it, okay? So now I'm going to stick this in my centerpiece. I have some more greenery I'm going to put in. I can actually pick the other side too if I want to put this in or let it sit out like that. I don't know. Let's see. Actually, I kind of like it out like that. I think we need one more balloon over there though. Take a little balloon and pick it. So I think we either need maybe you don't want to be able to see the styrofoam at all. So then there is the bottom, can you see that? And it's a little different. It's not your typical base. You can add lights through it. But it's pretty sturdy. Like it's not, you don't have to worry about it falling apart or falling down. It's pretty sturdy. Okay, so. And I just had a roll of burlap and I cut it to pieces and then picked it. And if we have time, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. I'm gonna stick this back in too. So that's that centerpiece done too, pretty much. I mean, normally I would go, you could also use fresh greens. I use these a lot. This is just, again, really inexpensive greenery and they last. So I can buy them on like Tuesday for a Saturday job And as long as I, put them in water, they're fine. Even, honestly, even out of water. These are not the ones I put normally inside of a bubble. Like inside a bubble, I would use a fern. But we can add in some of these too. And these, again, cost like $5. So they're not expensive, and they go far. So we use these in even our organic arches and stuff. I'm a big fan of fresh greens. Actually, it smells nice too, believe it or not. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there. So we definitely glue in also. I always use glue in with the fresh greens too, because you don't want them. I think the venue would get probably might get mad at me if when the people take it home, it's all over the floor. You know what I mean? So I just feel that try to not do that. Going to add in some of this. The great thing I like about greenery is it definitely fills in the gaps. So if you're, when you're making the centerpiece, you're like, oh, there's a gap there, I need more balloons there. Rather than keep adding balloons, if you fill in the gaps with greenery or baby's breath or anything like that, it's easier, in some ways. And it looks great. So, see? It's just giving it more woodsy look, more different texture than just using all the ivy. So I'm just putting it on the stem, and then I kind of wrap it around. And the only thing is, like, once you put it in, you're pretty much stuck with where you put it. Unless your balloon, top your balloon. But actually thinking, not even there. There we go. So I think by adding in the green, the fresh greens, it's making a difference in the centerpiece. It's just adding a little extra texture to it. You do big pieces and small pieces. Stuck it to the just going to keep adding, so hopefully we can get this done. And then it's kind of because also on the bubble, it's all different kinds of greenery. It's not one greenery around here. There's different, it's like ivy, and it looks like some kind of fern. Okay. All right, so there it is. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope I answer, or I hope I'll be able to answer any questions later if anybody has. Goodbye.
Well, there we go. Fantastic.
And I'll finish it and have a picture up later.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anne.
Thanks,
Much appreciated.
So
Working hard as
I'll post
always.
a picture later so that everybody can have one.
Beautiful centerpieces.
Please show your appreciation for the wonderful Anne McGovern in the chat, guys. Make it go crazy. Lots of thumbs up. And we want to see nice golden nuggets up there as well.
It's very hard there, stood on your own, doing it. Not really sure if anybody's not aware that there's hundreds of people watching her.
Exactly. She's completely, blissfully unaware.
Fantastic.
There was so many of you guys. There's over 500 there invited into her living room to watch her make those.
She never even offered anybody a cup of tea, though.
I know. Okie dokie. Right. So, did we enjoy that? I'm guessing we did.